going through a cultural genocide, where the United Nations have commented that torture is widespread and routine on the citizens of this country every day of their lives. No matter what your opinion on Scottish independence is, the people of Scotland, and especially the leaders of our country, should recognise the liberties that we are fortunate enough to have, where we are allowed the opportunity for self-determination, a right that those in Tibet are without, a right that because they are without it, it is causing kids as young as 15 years old to set themselves ablaze just in the hope that someone in the free world will tell the governments that are oppressing them that enough is enough. People ask me why I run Scottish independence. What I tell them is because I want to see a nation which stands in solidarity with countries around the world that upholds human rights and believe in the freedoms of every individual. At the moment, the leader of my country is not showing this. The leader of my country could be taking us into an independence where we act the same as what the UK government is acting today, where we have the Prime Minister, David Cameron, banning ministers from meeting with His Holiness, the Dalai Lama, in an act to appease the Chinese government, where David Cameron avoids any talk of the Tibet issue when he meets the Chinese authorities. I do not want to see a Scottish independent nation go in the same way. I want to see a Scottish independent nation speaking out for what is right in the world. Our government should be living up to its promises and work towards a more progressive international movement. But they can do this now by joining with other concerned governments across the world and taking multilateral action on the Tibet crisis. As I examine plans for the second Independent Scotland March on the anniversary of the Battle of Bannockburn in the autumn of next year, Tibet groups in Scotland must ensure that he acknowledges the Tibetan fight for independence by holding the biggest free Tibet demonstrations that Scotland has ever seen. But each of us here needs to take individual responsibility in this. Each of us here needs to spend the next year reinforcing this point. Each of us needs to take together and join the fight for a free Tibet, a world which stands on the right side of history. In the words of one of my greatest heroes, Padang Gyatso, a monk who was tortured at the hands of the Chinese government for over 33 years. Our collective will to resist what is unjust must be like a fire that cannot be put out. This is a fire that is currently ablaze in Tibet, where children as young as 15 years old are using that collective will to cry out for freedom. This is a collective will that must spread across Scotland now, that each of us must hold in our hearts and fight for the freedom of all people across the world today. That is a dream I have for us here in Scotland, and that is a dream that can be achieved with the passion of you all today. Our government must take action. We must amplify the voices of the Tibetan heroes. Tibet will be free. Free Tibet! China out! Free Tibet! China out! Free Tibet! China out! Free Tibet! China out! China, China, China! Out, out, out! China, China, China! Out, out, out! Free Tibet! China out! Free Tibet! China out! There are On behalf of everyone at Edinburgh University Tibet Society, and on behalf of all of Tibet supporters here in Edinburgh, and especially to the local Tibetan community, I want to thank you all for coming out on the 5th of December, the anniversary of His Holiness the Dalai Lama's Nobel Peace Prize Award, to fight for the freedom of Tibet. And I hope you will gather with us again to continue this fight in the future, at future demonstrations, and to make the Tibet movement in Scotland bigger than it's ever been before. Thank you.